Hello, Mary again. I am coming to you to give you an update on the rag quilt situation. So I put it up on the design wall. Hopefully I have a picture I can show you. Um, I had made 40 of the blue and of the pink squares blocks for this quilt to start with. And when I put it up on the design wall, um, I was debating whether I should before or after, but I guess it made sense to do it now just to make sure I had not the exact layout, but at least the basic layout. Since I'm making it up, I needed a minute to look at it. So I put it up on the wall, and I'm using one of those flannel black vinyl tablecloths that I got a couple years ago. And I put it up, but it was 5 wide by 8 down, and that just looked too narrow and too skinny. Um, so I think I needed to adjust to 6 by 7, which would be a total of, math guys, is 42 squares, 42 blocks, which I only created 40. So I need to manufacture 2 more blue blocks and 2 more pink blocks out of my stash of stuff that I have. And I think I can do that easily with the fashion fabric or the pattern fabric that I have. It's going to be a little trickier. I think I may have to piece the flannel layer on a couple because I have some scraps, but I don't have any more of that fabric. I tried to get some recently and they didn't have any. But since it's inside the quilt sandwich, I don't think it'll matter that it's pieced. I don't think I'll seam it. I think I'll just butt them up next to each other. And maybe I'll try out one of those batting joiners tape type things. So I wanted to show you, since I had the opportunity to start back over again on some of these blocks, show you how I was putting those together. I'm going to try a new camera angle and show you my featherweight and how I'm working on it. But I've already put one blue on, and then I've got one blue here, and then I have another set. So let me see if I can adjust this. I think we can try this. Sorry for the gigantic hand. It looks a little weird. And I just broke it. Never mind. Alrighty. After an argument with the tripod, here we are trying to do this direction. Hope it's not too weird that I can't see you, and hope I don't mess this up. But let's give this a try. We are, let's see here. I started with a jelly roll strip of the white. It still has the selvage. I did cut it in half at the fold. I'm going to place this blue strip or this blue triangle piece just kind of on this a little bit in the middle, just eyeballing it. For the first one, you can just eyeball it. That's the second one that you put on the other side of the white strip that you need to be a little more precise with. So I don't want to run thread all the way down this white strip. So I'm just going to kind of bring it in on the sideways over here. Give it a couple stitches and then kind of line it up straight and give it a drop in. And then I am cooking with gas and can hit go. Line it up just a little bit. Double check. And I'm going to twist that white out of the way so that I'm ready for my next piece. So I'll show you, I was pulling out a pink one. I had these packed in pairs so that they would be less likely to fray and to help count them. So I have 2 pink pieces here because I need to make 2 separate blocks. Sorry about that. Because I need to make 2 separate blocks. I'm going to grab both of these pieces, but I'll need another pair to finish this out. So I'm going to drop this piece of white I'll grab this piece of pink and just sort of drop it in the middle. I'm going to bring it in about an inch above onto the white. Do a little turn, get it lined up straight, and we're locked in. Give it a line up. My foot's grabbing that open seam. Let me make sure it's down. Okay, here we go. Run it off the edge. Grab another one. This part's pretty easy. The second one just takes a little bit of lining up, but I told you about ironing it and getting a middle for that, so it's not that hard. So, gonna scooch it a little bit. Make sure that seam's open. Drop it in on the white. Give it a corner. I am chain piecing these, and you'll see that in a second. When I pick them up, they're still connected. I just didn't run it all the way out onto the edge of that white and waste that thread and fabric. Because if I have these pieces of white fabric left over, I can use them for something else. But if they already had a line down the side, I would have to unpick that, and that just seemed like a lot of work. Kate from the Last Homely House does have a little thread catcher, which helps a lot because the Featherweight is particularly cranky about grabbing the thread tails. It's not one of those fancy self-cutting thread cutting machines. It is very particular about holding your thread tails, so that definitely comes in handy. Okay, so what I have right now is I now have 4 new partially done blocks. So each of these is one of the triangle sets mounted onto a white strip. So I will take this to the iron. I will iron this open, not open, to the dark side, to the color fabric, to the Scrappy fabric. And then I will put a crease in it and drop in the other set of blocks so that I can run that line as well. I can show you how I've done that over here. I'll put this down. I feel like Julia Child throwing pieces and parts on the floor when you're done with them. So this last set of pink ones, I had already ironed. I have already mounted one side of the triangle. And then I ironed the little crease into the corner here. And I have pinned the second set of triangles to that. Let's see if I can get a little more better light, sorry. So I've pinned the second set of triangles. And as I was saying earlier, I put one pin at the top just so that first part that I'm touching, that first part that I'm grabbing with the sewing machine is locked in. I don't need to secure this in because I'll get there in a second, so it's not that big a deal. But that is locked in on that end. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to run this off with the thread bunny, drop it onto the white fabric, give it a little twist, get us lined up. Might need a little point here to get that piece down. I was trying to jump above my foot. There we go. The way I did pin these, I am left-handed, so I struggle with pinning because I want to pin from the outside on this direction, but most of the time the pinning instructions are pinning from the other direction. But what I do find is if I pin it a little further away from the seam, I can run past it and not actually run over the needle. So this one is running next to it. It's not running over at all. But when I get to this spot, I am going to pull this one out. I have one of the little magnetic doodads over there. Throw it on the magnet. And give it a little line up on this bottom part. And run it off the corner. Alright, so I've got 9 more of those to go. And then all of the rest of those are done. My next step after we complete this, let me grab another thread. Let me drop that down. Release this one so I don't lose my spot in my order here. So the next step that I'm going to have to do is I'm going to take all of these completed blocks that are the full block, the full square with the 2 triangles, the middle stripe, and everything. And then I'm going to start building the quilt sandwich for the ragging. So let me see if I can scoot you out of the way without bonking anything. There we go. So I think what I'm going to do, let's play around with this. I'm going to put down my gray sheet. Throwing food on the floor. Alright, so I'm going to put down my gray sheet. And then I'm going to put down the flannel. So the flannel is the one that I have cut the closest. I have the least wiggle room. But I think I'm going to try to line it up onto like one corner here. Since it does sort of grab. I don't know that unless there's a seriously angry wrinkle, I think I'm okay. I did iron the sheet pieces at one point so they weren't super wrinkly. But the flannel, since it sticks to the sheet, I almost just like smoothed it past that wrinkle right there anyway. So I think I'm going to run it on this corner here, like pick a bottom right or a bottom left. Well, for me it was bottom left because I think left. I'm going to drop this on here. So then I feel like I have 2 sides that are solid lined up. Within like a 1/4 inch is where that flannel is. And then I have some space on the side here. Wow, that's really hard to see. Okay. Maybe if we look through it. Oh, you can see through it. So when you look through, you can see to the other side that there's different variants. Variants. Why do I always struggle with that one? A variety of widths and lengths. Okay. So then I wonder what's the best way to do this. Since that's lined up that way, I could drop this on with this will be ironed and starched and a little bit more crisp when I'm working on it. But let's play around here and pretend. Let me finger press that open. If I drop it on this way, this is kind of locked in a solid corner. That might work. Well, that didn't show up on camera. There we go. Or I wonder if it makes better sense okay, so, all right, let me talk this through. So I need to sew to mount this and to put this together. I need to sew down the lines on each side of the colored fabric. I think in order for the fabric to move and me still have plenty of space, I need to do it this way. I think I need to do it this way. Because if I do it this direction, then if it scoots, it's only going to scoot towards the space where I have more fabric, more background, quilt sandwich, whatever we're going to call it, the backing, sandwichy stuff. I need to have official terms here. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll grow up. All right, so I think this is how I will end up building this quilt sandwich situation. So I think I'm going to end up stacking these all like this, like pre-made. And then I can come back and just chain piece these sandwiches together and run all of those lines. It's going to take a lot of lines because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the other side. Various lengths, but it is going to be a lot of lines. I like that. I think I like that. I think that'll work. Maybe. That gives them the most space, and that gives me a little wiggle room. And then when it comes time to really trim it, it gives me the best chance to have one that's kind of sort of straight. I think I will need to do the center lines first, just to make sure it's locked in. I did notice on one of my practices it creeped a little on the corner, and I think I do need to unpick that when that happens, because it does need to not creep. So I think we're getting closer. Do we want to try it? I don't know. Do we want to try it? This side's ironed. Let's try it. Why not? Let's do this. Let's go crazy. I'm going to throw a pin in here, lock this in, and then since I'm going to run it through, let me roll that up a little bit and throw another one in there. Throw it that way so I don't stab myself. And then I'm going to throw one in here just to lock it in. Let's see if this works. This could be a disaster. We'll see. I'm going to do... Can I go that way first? See, I'm always stabbing myself with the pins. Stinking pins. Pin, they say. It'll be great, they said. How about I just clip it? That worked. Okay. Alright, so this is where it's going to get a little tricky. I do have to take off my metal seam allowance. So I have this magnet thingy. Let's see if I can show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like. I do have a gauge. Ooh, that's stuck. Can't pick it up. Okay, so this one is a sewing machine seam guide, and that's how I drop in the little metal gauge. But when I'm doing this top stitching, I can't use that, but I do stick it onto the edge of my machine there so I don't lose it. Okay, let's do this. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. No worries, right? Say no worries for the rest of your days. Alright, let's try this. This is really, really, really close. I'm going to go super slow until we get on there. Oh, that looks so good. That looks so good. Alright, let's keep it going. Keep it like taut. Making sure I'm not sewing fresh air over here. Let's see how we look. Oh, it looks so pretty. Oh my gosh. I love it. Oh, it's so hard to see. So hard to see. Alright, so it is a very thin, very perfect, close to perfect, looks sharp line right there. So I wonder if I just focus on this side, if I can get that done. I feel like the way this foot is shaped is kind of weird. I don't know if it's a Singer Featherweight thing, but it is kind of a weird foot. I've had some arguments with it. Okay, let's see if I can get a little bit of light there. That is not much light. Okay, that's terrible. All right, so it's an uneven throat. Yeah. So, okay, so when I'm working, when I'm sewing, I'm getting like the shorter one is on the inside and the longer one's on the outside. And sometimes it tries to catch my fabric. But what that does, it also does is it gives me a really solid line to follow for that top stitching, because if I keep it right there in the throat, it absolutely gets perfectly top stitched. I may regret this, taking this off. Let's see here. You could do it. Oh, good job. There we go. Good friend, good friend. Okay, so let me make sure this is tight. I will need to make sure that all of the seam allowances are correctly ironed as I'm lining these up, because I need it to lay correctly underneath. Oh, I did it backwards. I wonder, let's try it. So last time I did with the color to the right, this time I'm doing it to color to the left. I wonder if it's going to make a difference. We'll see. Oh, I got a little off. Maybe it does. Maybe it does make a difference. There's very little tolerance for getting off kilter on the other side. Okay, let's see how that went. Yeah, that didn't go as well. Okay, fair. Lesson learned. I'll probably pick that one. So having the foot with the shorter side on the edge made it a lot harder to catch. Let's see if I can show you how. Yeah, it's just too bright. I wonder if I just go straight up to the camera. Will it adjust? Ooh, it did. Okay, so this side stayed pretty steady. This side right there wandered off of the edge and went into the actual ditch instead of top stitching. It was just a lot harder to keep it on track. Okay, lesson learned. So this needs to always be, I need to be stitching with the color to the left for that to stay locked in like that. Okay, let me pop this pin out. I'll try one more line. Sorry, I still got a lingering cold. Okay. We're taut, we're seam down. We're not in the right spot though. Let me travel a little. There we go. Alright, let's get her done. Okay, so I did it on the wrong side, but I didn't jinx myself by saying anything. Well, and I managed to not mess that one up. So, we'll call that a win. I guess it's technically possible to do either side. You just have to pay more attention and be a little more careful when you're doing it on the other direction. It just seems to be the default of how my brain is putting it in here. I guess. I don't know. Because I just did it again. I need to remind myself to iron that one open. Because I forgot. Okay. We're always showing and I got distracted. Which is entirely possible. Alright, let me run this off the edge here. Take a look at it. See if I can pop it out. I'll get a little too enthusiastic with my thread bunny there. Oops. There we go. Alright, what crazy chaos have I created? All the crazy chaos. Ooh, I still got a pin in there. I'm going to end up stabbing myself. Okay. So, ignoring the edge and just looking at the section in the middle. Let me turn off that light and see if it adjusts better. Ooh, that looks nice. Okay, so I have top stitched this and that, and this and that. I have not top stitched that one yet. And I've not done the other side yet because I still need to iron that one open. But then that puts the lovely white lines down the back. Maybe I should switch to a gray. I don't know. I like it. I like it. So now I just have to do that 41.5 more times. Yay! And then we get to trim them all out and put them all together. So I wonder how big this is becoming. It's not quite 12 inches. It's kind of like 11.5 by 11.5-ish. I think it's going to finish out a little smaller than 11 once they're put together. All right, see you next time.